are live. Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports? We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. It looks like we are having some lag issues, I believe. We're trying to fix those currently. I do not know. We're trying to just fix those currently. So I see them. I notice them. We are trying to fix them. Believe you me. Believe you me, we are trying to fix that lag issue. We'll get there, but we do got a lot to get into. What a day to have connection issues, right? What a day to have some connection issues. But we're here. If you've missed the news, Will Wade has been fired from LSU with cause. Let me repeat. LSU has fired Scott Woodward and William Tate combined has fired Will Wade for cause. LSU gets popped with a lack of institutional control. The NCAA not only says that they have allegations, but they also come out and say that they have proof of Will Wade cheating. We will dive all into that. What does the lack of institutional control mean for not only Will Wade, LSU basketball, but LSU football, and why we said Wednesday, or why I came out here Wednesday and said absolutely nobody, and I mean nobody, is bigger than the program at LSU. No one coach is bigger than LSU. I will give you a story, a personal encounter that I had with Will Wade not too long ago about some Rudy Poo candy ass shit that he did and has said and has done. Multiple people that were with me will back up that statement if need be. But Will Wade is going to know when I come out with this story, he's going to know exactly what I'm talking about. The American gangster goes down. Al Capone, John Gotti, whoever you want to name, El Chapo, they all go down crumbling. If you want to know if I'm pissed off, I'm beyond pissed off. I'm beyond pissed off. We'll get into all of it. Also, what does it mean for LSU football? The NCAA pretty much came out and told you what it meant for LSU football. Quite honestly, guys, I think LSU football may be okay because of the quick and swift action that Scott Woodward and administrators took in all of this. Ed Orgeron hit with a level 3 violation. Nothing too serious there. So we'll get into all of that. We will 1,000% get into all of that. I see the Golden Boot Pod, our good friends Pooh Bear, Ant, Daniel, and others, starting their own podcast. Go over and subscribe for those guys over their podcast. They said praying for you and your family. I greatly appreciate that. So does Jared. So does KMC. Yeah, my grandmother Josie isn't doing so well. I would greatly appreciate all of you that are prayer warriors and followers of Christ our Lord to please pray for my grandmother Josie. She is not doing so well. So all prayers I am asking. That's why we didn't go live earlier. After the baseball game, I've been at the hospital today. So I just pray for all of you. I pray for her, and thank you everybody for all of your thoughts and prayers for her. It's been a very it's been a tough one. But in the Lord's hands, we will give it all. And I appreciate everyone who's thinking of us and our family. She's just going through it. All right, so let's do this. Everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share it to some Facebook groups. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it if you did that for us. Yes, I know it's lagging. I know it's lagging, guys. There's not a lot I can do. Stand by. Stand by. Let me see if this works. Stand by. Let's see. Do you guys have me? I think you should have me now. I think you should have me. Yeah, I don't know what's really going on there. Maybe I could text my wife and tell her to okay. Spectrum is gonna Spectrum. Spectrum is gonna Spectrum. You best believe that. On the day that we absolutely need it. Every time we get more than 400 people in here total, it starts doing some crazy things. Some absolutely crazy things. So what you gonna do? What you gonna do, man? Tyson Messer says, praying for you and your family. Be strong, Blank. Thank you so much. Aunt Marshall says, Will Wade trying to keep you from ranting. That's probably what it is. That's probably what it is. But we're going to soldier through it, as Nookie says. Yes, we will soldier through this and continue to go. Okay, everybody, now let's do it formally. Everybody do us a favor and hit the like and share. Share to some Facebook groups. If you're on YouTube, do us a favor by hitting the like button there. Everybody hit the like button on YouTube. Share to your social media pages, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. We would greatly, greatly appreciate that for you doing that. If you're listening to us in the audio podcast platform, please do us a favor there as well. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Let's pay some bills very, very, very quickly. And then we'll get started. None better than our good friends over at betonline.ag. Guys, I've been telling you about BetOnline for such a long time now and everything great that they do for us here at AYS. Guys, you want to bet parlays, you want prop bets, whatever it is that you want, BetOnline will be able to do it for you today. Get over there, use your mobile device, sign up. You'll get a 50% welcome bonus for listening to AYS by using the promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. BLEAV. Get that 50% welcome bonus and let them know that your good friend Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you on by. And our good friends over at Manscaped. Guys, I got to tell you, the 4.0 lawnmower, absolutely amazing. Do you want your undergarments to not smell like they used to? They got the lotions. They got the lawnmower. They got the trimmer. They got everything over at Manscaped. Go over there today. You'll get 20% off if you use the AYS promo code. That's promo code AYS. Buy anything over from Manscaped. They'll give you free shipping. Guys, in today's society, in today's economy, free shipping is absolutely amazing. That's manscaped.com. Use the promo code AYS at your purchase to get all of your Manscaped trimming needs. All right, let's get started. Let's get rolling. Yeah, I've already done the speed test. Ryan, I can't do it. Derek Easton says, tell the story already. All right, well, we'll get to there. If you've missed it, and look, we're going to stay in here and go as long as we can, talking about this Will Wade investigation, talking about everything that happened with Will Wade. Let me first off start by starting and saying this about Will Wade. Nobody, not Scott Woodward, not Ed Orgeron, not Brian Kelly, not William Tate, no athlete, nobody, myself, all the fans, nobody is bigger than the program. Nobody. That also includes Will Wade. Now, we've come out here and we've talked about the notice of allegations. We've talked about Pat Forty, and I have to take some of the, I don't want to say blame because blame's a bad word. I have to take some of the criticisms when it comes to me questioning Pat Forty and his reporting. What you don't want to hear and what you don't want to listen to, but you have to come here and you have to listen to it, is that Will Wade cheated. Pat Forty was right. Now, do I still believe, even to this day, and even today, when Pat Forty broke or started all of the news, even in some of his articles, he's still taking shots at Will Wade, pot shots at LSU. It does not mean he wasn't right. It doesn't mean that Dick Vitale wasn't right. I want to say this. I'm glad it's over. And it's not completely over yet, but I'm glad that we have something and that we know something that is coming of all of this. It's over. Now, we're going to get the ruling from the NCAA. We're going to find out. We're going to find out exactly what the ruling is going to be in a couple of months. That we all know. And that's fine. But at least we know everything going on with Will Wade is coming to an end and a conclusion. Now, if you missed it, LSU was popped today for a lack of institution, and I'm breaking all this down. I'm not going to go anywhere and start reading all of this, okay, just because it would take too much time. But if you missed it, LSU was hit with a lack of institutional control, pattern of non-compliance. Let me back up. If you don't know what a lack of institutional control is, it's when multiple sports a part of your university are hit with NCAA violations at the same time in the same period. LSU football and LSU basketball is a part of that. LSU football being the Our Lady of the Lake situation with Paul Funes, or however you say his last name, which LSU already imposed a bowl ban and scholarship reductions, which I would assume came down from the NCAA themselves, telling LSU to do this, and we will accept that. Scott Woodward was not going to do that without the NCAA being involved, Mark Emmert being involved. That is why I believe LSU football has the very strong potential of being safe. The very strong potential of being safe. But that is what a lack of institutional control is. A pattern of non-compliance, and not only non-compliance, LSU's Will Wade misleading FBI investigators and NCAA investigators. He misled everybody, y'all. When the story came out from Yahoo, the Yahoo Sports article breaking all the story about Will Wade, about Kansas, about Louisville, Duke, others, Will Wade, when investigated by the FBI and investigated by the NCAA, he led them astray on how things were going. That ultimately is what got Will Wade. Being in the field that I've been in the past, when you start misleading investigators, when you start misleading people, you are going to get popped. Now, I want to make a very quick note here because Bill Self of Kansas got popped also with a lack of institutional control, meaning Kansas as well, and got 5 level 1 violations. However, this is where this starts to differ. This is where this starts to differ for Will Wade. Where it starts differing for Will Wade is not only did he lead them down a wrong path, is that he started covering it up. Will Wade tried to and was almost successful in a cover-up when he was investigated by the FBI and investigated by the NCAA. A former player's fiance received cash from Will Wade's. Now, here's the stupidest, and I mean absolutely dumbest thing I've ever seen or heard of a coach doing outside of using their own personal phones to hire hookers for their programs, is he used his wife's and his joint bank account to pay players. Now, Bill Armstrong, the associate head coach, was also involved in that, and I understand it. Bill Armstrong sounds good. We'll see. We're not going to spend a lot of time on Bill Armstrong and the lack of institutional hair that he has on top of his head. But regardless, LSU and Will Wade got extremely sloppy with everything it was that they were doing. Guys, he paid players from a joint bank account from him and his wife. I really just don't understand that. What is that? Now, this whole thing with Will Wade, and guys, I know we're freezing. There's nothing I can do about it. There's absolutely nothing I can do about that, Roland. Nothing I can do about it at this point. Other than shutting the stream down and coming back, I don't know. When I read that today, when I read that Will Wade attempted to mislead FBI investigators and NCAA investigators, you know what I thought about? Al Capone and tax invasion. I thought about the mafia. I thought about guys like Al Capone going out there and trying to pay witnesses and jury members so they don't get convicted. And not only did Will Wade pay the girl, he paid the fiance, and then he didn't follow up with it. He just didn't follow up with it. She wanted more money, and he wouldn't give it to her. She wanted a car. He wouldn't buy it for her. Now, I came out here earlier and said that I have a story about Will Wade, and I'll talk about it. And this is not something that just myself saw. Multiple people that I'm very close with saw this. A local media member knows about this, and others know about this encounter that I had and saw with Will Wade. Now, when it comes to the business, I'm not going to mention it. But there was an encounter with people with Will Wade and players that Will Wade had an arrogance about him when somebody asked him about all of this and the notice of allegations. Will Wade said, and I'm quoting here, "I'm not going to get caught. There's no way that they have anything on me because I didn't do anything wrong. And when I have people around Baton Rouge that will defend me till kingdom come, there's no way that the NCAA can find me or not find me, but fire me, meaning LSU fire him, because nobody will rat on me." Newsflash, Will, they did. Newsflash, guy, they did. Multiple people came to you and they ratted on you. They got text messages. They got phone calls. They got wire fraud. Now, will Will Wade ever coach again? Maybe. Maybe. If guys like Art Briles can be hired as an offensive coordinator and fired within a day, if Hugh Freeze can be hired again at pretty much a Christian school, if other coaches can be hired elsewhere, Will Wade will probably coach somewhere again. He probably will coach somewhere again. I hate that for Will Wade in a sense. But LSU is going to face the reaping of this more than what Will Wade will in some aspects. Now, what I don't want to hear is about Bill Self and about Duke and about other things, because all those coaches had middlemen to some extent. Will Wade used him and his wife's joint bank account. The Bill Self ruling, by the way, the Bill Self ruling came with 5 level 1 violations that then was reduced to 3 per Yahoo. Now, this is from a Yahoo report. Went down to 3, and Bill Self ultimately would comply with the NCAA. They do not have Bill Self on a wiretap saying that he's paying players, by the way. The only thing that they remotely have is him saying that I love Adidas and need better guys to win national championships to a guy at Adidas. Here's what else got Will Wade. Outside of bribery and extortion, Will Wade was also hit with issues. So if you remember in 2017 or 19, when he was suspended, when he was suspended, Will Wade would then redo his contract. And when he redid his contract, it stated this in the opening paragraph. Now, we went and found this. If so above, as this how it reads, meaning Wade, issues, and if the NCAA issues a formal notice of allegations of level 1 or level 2 violations, LSU shall at that moment terminate with cause to the head coach, known Will Wade. So Will Wade didn't even have to be proven of any of the notice of allegations per what he accepted, and there's reduction of his contract to be fired by Scott Woodward, who's not even the guy that hired him. The arrogance around Will Wade and all of this has been absolutely uncanny. Now, when we came out Wednesday and talked about the notice of allegations, the biggest thing that I talked about was at some point Pat Forty had to have known from the NCAA, along with Pete Thamel, that they had evidence and proof that LSU was going to get hit with what LSU showed today. I understand that the American gangster and everybody likes Will Wade. Quite honestly, I don't dislike Will Wade as a person. I strongly dislike Will Wade for what he did at LSU. And before you say he made LSU basketball relevant, it means in his time frame, it means absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing if you're going to face level 1, level 2, level 3, 7 level 1 counts. It means nothing when you have to go through all of this. How do you think James Craig was fired in the first place? The NCAA being on campus. Did you really think the NCAA was going to investigate Will Wade this long and it wouldn't trickle over to other programs? Everybody do us a favor. If you're on Facebook, every single one of you, looks like our stream's getting a little bit better. Everybody hit the like button in the share. Please, now as it's getting better, do us a favor, and there it goes again. Hit the like and share. One thing that I will agree in all of this is the NCAA, though, I don't trust the NCAA at all. At all. I don't trust anything that they will do. Even if Scott Woodward has a backdoor deal, even if they have a backdoor handshake deal to save football and Will Wade was a sacrificial lamb, I still don't trust them, y'all. I still don't trust the NCAA. As the great Conor McGregor would say when he was fighting Floyd Mayweather, F the NCAA. Because they're just as crooked. But what I'm not going to do, let me tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to come on this show and start pointing the fingers at other programs when your coach got found guilty. My loyalty is not to Duke. My loyalty is not to Kansas. My loyalty is not to Louisville. It's not to any of the other programs. It is to, and always will be, to LSU. I don't care what other people are doing. It's like, well, mama, little Johnny jumped off the bridge. Doesn't mean you got to jump off the bridge. Now, I understand that you have to do things in recruiting to get high-level recruits. Nobody is arguing that. Don't get caught. Don't be so naive that you think that you can get away with using a joint bank account and think that you're able to get away with any of this. Your wife's joint bank account. You're putting your wife in the middle of all of this? Will Wade, the American gangster. My buddy Jeremy Hill says, F the NCAA. Jay Hilly, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Max says, what does this have to do with LSU football? So let's go there very quickly. Then we'll get to as much of the comments as we can. This, in the lack of institutional control, it has the Odell Beckham giving cash to players. It has the Our Lady of the Lake issue with the no-show job and the payments and things like that. Let me throw this everybody's way. And to everybody that is saying that LSU didn't make a penance. Why? Let me ask you guys this question. Now, I know that I'm probably going to be labeled a conspiracy theorist on this, but let me throw this your way. So you mean to tell me about a month ago, LSU President William Tate IV and Scott Woodward in a joint press conference at Our Lady of the Lake gave Our Lady of the Lake hundreds of millions of dollars. And what quite honestly, is restitution to Our Lady of the Lake. Some of those monies being used for LSU athletics. You mean to tell me that that Scott Woodward and William Tate IV did not know something from the NCAA and gave all that cash to Our Lady of the Lake? You mean to tell me that the NCAA wasn't guiding them to do something like that? You mean to tell me that and this is literally one of the first moves that President William Tate IV made when he was hired at LSU was to go out there and give hundreds of millions of dollars to Our Lady of the Lake. And you mean to tell me that the board members and the boosters and everyone around LSU didn't bat an eye unless William Tate IV would go to those boosters, go to the board of supervisors and say something like this? Hey, our cash cow's in trouble. The NCAA wants us to make restitution. Conspiracy theory that. I don't think much is going to come to LSU football because in the notice of allegations, the NCAA noted that the swift action by LSU football of the bowl ban, multiple scholarship reductions, recruiting, self-imposed recruiting, whatever the word is, dead periods. You mean to tell me Scott Woodward has not been talking to his good buddy Mark Emmert about what to do to save LSU football? Hundreds of millions of dollars went to Our Lady of the Lake when you have multiple hospitals. You got the Baton Rouge General. You got multiple hospitals around Baton Rouge. Why are you doing it with Our Lady of the Lake? I will say this. LSU basketball fans will not like this. You save LSU basketball at all costs. I mean, LSU football at all costs. You save your cash cow at all costs. I know that that's going to rub people the wrong way, but you save your cash cow at all costs. If it means terminating Will Wade, then so be it. Let me say this too. There are other coaches out there that are better than Will Wade. Now, can you get them? I don't know that. Will a good coach come here with these penalties hanging over the head of LSU? I don't know that. I don't know that. It is of my opinion. It is of my opinion that a guy like Brian Kelly would not come to LSU, and his agent Trace Armstrong would not allow him to come to LSU if they knew that LSU was going to get hit with a lack of institutional control and LSU football was going to have problems. Why would he leave Notre Dame? You mean to tell me that Trace Armstrong didn't know? In finishing, I hear a lot of people say that they have faith in Scott Woodward. I hear a lot of people and LSU fans that say that Scott Woodward is light years, and he is light years ahead of a guy like Joe Alleva. He is. He is. Why do you think he fired Will Wade? Scott Woodward has also been known as a quote-unquote gangster. You mean to tell me are you losing faith? Are you losing faith in Scott Woodward's decision-making? Kim Mulkey looks to be doing all right. JP, now let's get to a couple of these comments. I'll scroll all the way up top, but he says LSU basketball will only have a one-season bowl ban. Nah. They're going to get more than that. Mark Titter says, weren't you just saying we needed to keep him 2 days ago? No, I did not say that, Mark. I did not say that. What I said is you can go look. There's a YouTube. We put it on Twitter, and I clipped it up for everybody on Twitter. Go re-listen to it. I did not say that we need to keep him. I said that I do not, with what we know about Will Wade, that we do not need to fire him if what we have right now is the only thing that we have. Now that we have more, guys, the NCAA literally came out with text messages of Will Wade attempting to cover up his investigation. Guys, that is bribery. He actually committed bribery. So what do you mean that we're supposed to sit here and fight? They had text messages and they have money coming out of a joint bank account. They have specific details, account numbers, routing numbers. I'm sure had to have come from a subpoena from the FBI. That was not in the notice of allegations. I made some phone calls. They have multiple text messages to a cover-up. People ratted on Will Wade because they think he's arrogant. Reed Wilson says, right now, you're not ranked and got bounced in the SEC tournament with all this talent. I'm sorry. I said it before. I'll say it again. Will Wade is not worth all of that. I don't think Wade was worth all of this. Bailey Jones says somebody said he had tax evasion. I don't think he had tax evasion. You're freezing so bad. Guys, I'm sorry. I really am sorry. I don't know what else to do. I mean, there's not a lot I can do. Outside of ending the space and coming back, I don't know what else to do. I really don't know what to do. Jeremy Albritton says every coach does it. This is the NCAA. I don't, but see, Jeremy, here's my thought process on this. I don't care about everybody else. I don't care about anybody else. What are they going to do to us? I mean, they have more proof on Will Wade than Bill Self. Those are not mutually exclusive. Now, what I do agree is that the NCAA is stupid and dumb, and they make their own rules at their own times, and they don't go after coaches like Coach K. They don't get guys like Bill Self. Kansas doesn't fire Bill Self. I get all of that. I agree with you there. I completely agree with you there. But at some point, we got to stop saying Pat Forty's dumb, Pat Forty's wrong, LSU's innocent, Will Wade's innocent. Guys, no, he's not. Justin Broussard says it's basically what USC got with Reggie Bush situation. Very close. Very, very, very close. Outside of that, Pete Carroll didn't get a bribery charge brought against him, though. Yeah, I don't know. Hold on. Let me try to do this. Stand by, guys. Stand by. No, it doesn't look like that's working. It doesn't look like that's working. I don't know, man. We're just gonna have to power through it. Maybe we'll come back tomorrow. Aaron Davis says the stream's better now. Okay. All right. Jake Nola, me and him, I told him to come in here and I told him we would debate this. Jake says, but also let's not act like he did something morally wrong by paying players. If that's the case, then NIL is immoral. Let's talk about this NIL thing very quickly. This is not name, image, and likeness. This is not name, image, and likeness. Not how it was intended. Are other people breaking NIL rules? Are other people breaking NIL? Yes. Yes, they are. I mean, obviously, we have situations like I just removed everybody on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, come to Facebook or YouTube. Preferably go to YouTube. But NIL was not intended for that, right? Like NIL was not intended for at all for a coach to commit bribery and pay players to come here. It also wasn't intended on going and getting visas for players and their families. Now, there's nothing wrong with helping a family get a visa. Nothing's wrong with that. But giving a player $300,000 is not worth it. Now, it's like the whole Elliot Ness thing, right? Like they asked Elliot Ness after bootlegging was over, Elliot, what's the first thing you're going to do? He says, I'm going to go have me a drink. The law is what the law is at the time. He broke the rules, and I don't care about Kansas. I don't care about Duke. Can we talk about Will Wade and LSU? Terry Hilton says moral is the wrong word, maybe ethical. Well, they hit him with being unethical. Yeah, everybody's saying it's not freezing too bad on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, get over to YouTube. Are You Serious Sports? Craig says it's not freezing bad on YouTube. Yeah, there's not a lot I can do there. We will be coming back tomorrow. We're going to be moving the Saturday show, by the way, to Sundays. So during the football off season, we'll be doing a show on Sundays. Nookie says direct payments from schools and coaches is still illegal today. Yeah, it's illegal. Yeah, it's illegal. It is definitely illegal. And Marshall says it's like when 5 people speeding at and the police pull over one person. They're all doing it, but only one person got caught. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly, but well, Your Honor, everybody else was doing it. Just want to mention this again, guys. Go over to Manscaped, manscaped.com. Use the promo code AYS. Somebody do this for me. Go over to Manscaped right now. I don't really ask you guys for a lot. We do a lot of giveaways here. Please, if you've been looking over at Manscaped, go there today. Get 20% off by using the promo code AYS. That's promo code AYS at manscaped.com. The Lawnmower 4.0. They got the whole ball bag. The whole ball bag you can get. The whole ball bag you can get. The fresh deodorant. I got to tell you, I've used it, man. I've used it. I love it a lot. I'm not going to lie. So use the promo code AYN. Mark Chambers says, you got that right. Players and girls' friends try to grab fast cash. Speaks volume to character. It also speaks to the lack of institutional control that Will Wade had. Guys, how does the fiance have the number? And why is Will Wade giving them upwards of cash of and what's even so much more what's so wild about this is the simple fact of that he didn't use a middleman. Why don't you get your attorney or your middleman to do something like that? Tell the girl to go hire a law firm and do it through other ways. So many other people, I don't know. I don't know if this Carrie Smith is my sister or not, but she says, who cares? It's legal now to pay players. What's the point? It's not legal for your head coach to pay players. Not trying to defend Wade, but really, come on. Sorry. He broke the rules when it was the rules at the time. And he covered it up. So basically what I'm seeing and hearing from everybody is everybody in here that is defending Will Wade is saying Scott Woodward is wrong. Then tell Scott that. Reed Wilson says that one show had a poll which the program is more important, football or basketball. These idiots voted basketball 53%. Wow. Clyde says bank accounts equal federal rules and regulations. There you go. FDI. Clyde, that's a good damn point. A very good damn point. FDIC. Now, one thing we haven't talked about is who LSU would target. Guys, I got to be honest. I have no idea. I literally have no idea. They don't know what the sanctions are going to be. Let me say this too. I am glad that LSU football and it has a strong possibility of being okay. That's what I'm glad of. Everybody do us a favor, hit the like and share. That is what I am glad of. Now, here's another thing. Where's Joe Alleva in all of this? You don't think Joe Alleva had a personal vendetta against Will Wade and against LSU after he got fired? You don't think he was telling the NCAA something? Penn Jones says Wade should get a lifetime ban. He ain't getting no lifetime ban. Ain't no way. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Brian Champagne says, why are they going back to 1986? They're not going back to 1986. They implemented a rule that went back to 1986. That's the ruling. SMU. That's the ruling that they're going under. G. McKee Z says that's not what the poll said. It said which of the programs will the section start more. Oh, basketball. Basketball. Completely. This old vet says people making decisions based on emotional connections instead of principles. Maybe so. I mean, old vet, I can't disagree with that. I cannot disagree with that. Mark Chambers says, she said, who cares because we have rules, darling. Obey them. Terry Hilton says, it's just like cannabis. It's legal now, but people are still doing time for it in the states that legalize it. Terry, that's a look. I let everybody give me a thumbs up in the chat if you feel deceived by Will Wade. Guys, was Joe Alleva right? And this is the part where I sit back and think to myself about Scott Woodward and the media pressure that will come of all of this, the booster issues that will come of all of this. Scott Woodward's not going to budge for a damn thing. He's not going to blink. He 1,000% is not going to blink behind any of this. It doesn't matter what's going on. Joe Alleva would crumble like a burnt cookie if he were still here. Want to know? Hey, you want to know why Will Wade didn't get an extension? By the way, Will Wade was out there telling media members that he was getting an extension. Dog, no, you ain't. Clearly. Jason says, Blake, I'm late. Are we sure football will be okay? Basketball is screwed, but what the heck? I think football will be okay. Now, if I'm wrong on that, I'm wrong on that, and you guys can rip me a new one. You guys 1,000% can come in here and rip me a new one. When I mean okay, what I mean okay is I don't think that they're going to get another bowl ban. I don't think that they'll lose more scholarships because the fact that the NCAA came out today and said that they were glad that LSU football or LSU did what they did and moved as quickly as they did with football, with the bowl ban and the scholarship reduction and the recruiting dead periods. Guys, LSU self-imposed 7, if I remember correctly, recruiting dead periods after the Our Lady of the Lake Odell Beckham thing. By the way, you want to talk about Ed Orgeron, Brian Kelly, and recruiting and how kids just come to LSU. They still had a top 6 class. Now, it's going to take Brian Kelly to also be stern and be strong so kids from on this football team don't go into the transfer portal. Harold Woods, our good friend Harold, what's up, buddy? He says Wade was out on the corner slinging it. At least get you a Walmart throwaway phone. Oh, by the way, Will Wade, you want to hear something even more wild that the NCAA said? Will Wade signed, from what I understand, talking to some people around the program, that Will Wade was supposed to give over 600,000 images and text messages, and when he only gave like 120,000 texts and stuff like that, and they kept asking him, and when they finally got to it, Will Wade said he didn't have that phone anymore. Chance Babin says, throw the bank at Scott Drew. His dad coached LSU. You can get, I see all these thumbs up emojis. LSU can go get a good coach. They can go get a good coach. Nookie, my good friend. By the way, man, I love you, brother. I love you, brother. We're all in this together. He says, I don't trust that language on football, Blake. That cost them nothing to give LSU that little push to get rid of Wade. Nookie, I think you bring up a very interesting point there. I think you make an interesting point. I am on the opposite side of that coin, Nook, in reference to why put it in there, though. You know, maybe I think that you have a point there that it could be that they put in there to fire Will Wade. But my question would be, Nookie, is why would you have to put it in there to fire Will Wade? You know what I mean? Like, And here's another thing. I wonder. I guarantee you, Scott Woodward. Why would Scott Woodward have to or want to fight for any of this? It's not his guy. Will Wayne has brought more issues to Scott Woodward than really anybody. The Ed Orgeron thing, to Ed's credit, was his own personal doing, his own personal thing, and what happened to him outside of the program. Now, Ed Orgeron got hit with a level 3 recruiting violation, which, with all due respect, is really not that big of a deal. He said too many words to recruit when they were passing by one another. That is not paying players and getting caught doing it. So, yeah. Curtis Thiel says, I like how we went from defending him to throwing him under the bus since the first time this started. Yeah, I think fans have done that. I think some media has done that. I haven't heard from a lot of media members. Now, I'll say this. I think a lot of you that went after guys like Matt Trent on the local beat owe him an apology. I think a lot of you in the local media owe Matt Trent an apology. Matt Trent, to his credit, 3 weeks ago, actually 3 or 4 weeks ago, Matt Trent from WBRZ came out on the show and said, my wife just texted me and said, sorry, her phone was on the charger. Our stream gets a little bit better. I think my little buddy Ben was streaming on multiple TVs back in the back and why our internet was bad, because it's gotten so much better. Now, everybody do us a favor and hit the like and share. That's why we need a new studio, man. It's gotten so much better. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I completely forgot what I was saying. Now that our stream's getting better, I completely forgot what I was saying. Oh, Matt Trent. Matt Trent came out 3-4 weeks ago and said that he had a credible, before the Pat 40 thing came out, before all of this came out, literally a month ago, and said that he had already started hearing rumblings from people around the NCAA that LSU is very likely going to get hit with a notice of allegations. He got ripped for it. Guys, I know that when we talk about reporters and journalists and things like that, guys reporting in sports, most of them locally, are not pushing a political agenda, myself included. Guys, I don't come on here and talk politics. I don't even think anybody in here even knows what party line I go to. It would probably shock you. Y'all owe that man a big fat apology. Ryan says studio needs its own modem internet line. It will. It will. Trust me, and those things aren't cheap. Reed Wilson says, bingo, Rufino. I said it before, and I'll say it again. It was not Scott Woodward's guy, and I think Scott Woodward wanted to clean house. Yeah, he wanted to clean house, and it will help him when he cleans house. It will certainly help him when he cleans house. Ryan Williams from the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com, 985-386-7600. 985-386-7600, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Got to give a good shout out to my guy, Ryan. AOIS listener, went over to the Drake Williams Law Firm. They were able to help them out very, very quickly on their needs. So shout out to you, my good guy, Ryan Williams. But he says, if the NCAA backstabs Woodward on LSU football, there will be some awkward family holidays. I don't think that they will. I think Scott Woodward's too smart to not have somebody on a wiretap his damn self. Nookie says, love you too, brother. Always, Nookie. We're here. We're here, my brother. Always. Always, my brother. Nookie, if I got to go knock somebody out, big dog, I'll Mike Tyson uppercut somebody. Where's Stephen Miller? Somebody go get Stephen Miller and bring him in the chat. He's going to get a Mike Tyson-sized uppercut live in the AYS studios. Dustin says, Nookie, great to see you, buddy. Stay strong. We love you, Nookie. Brandon Reese says, it'll be interesting to see who are Woodward's top candidates to replace Wade. Absolutely. And look, don't get it twisted for a second. If you think Scott Woodward's not going to be swinging for the bleachers, you're crazy. You know what's going to be also crazy? Oh, this is what I forgot about earlier. You know what's going to be wild, like absolutely just insane, is what happens when they start completely renovating the PMAC? Penn Jones brings up an interesting point. He says, I don't think it was Woodward's had a choice but to fire him. I don't think he did either. Really? Really? I really don't. I really don't. Jamar Jackson says, get Mark Jackson. I wouldn't mind Mark Jackson. I wouldn't mind Mark Jackson. Noble Patterson on Facebook says, I think the NCAA is upset that players are getting NIL deals. Now they're needed to show they have some control over players. I just hate the timing. Yeah, Noble, I'm gonna have to disagree with that. I don't think that that's the case. I don't think that that's the case at all. I think in Will Wade's aspect, it comes to the point where Will Wade just tried to defraud the NCAA and the FBI. Guys, one thing that we know is when you start pissing off law enforcement, they're going to fight back, and they have subpoena power. And if they think that, I mean, guys, he technically, I mean, I don't know if Will's going to see any criminal charges on any of this. I highly doubt that he will. But let's not, let's not mistake that Will Wade isn't complicit here. Now, I don't know if you go after a guy like Brad Stevens. I don't know if you go after Buzz Williams. I don't know if who you go after, but I have confidence in Scott Woodward. Scott Woodward, for his issues with Buzz Williams at Texas A&M, look what they did in the SEC tournament. LSU will be fine basketball-wise, and there's better coaches out there than Will Wade. There's better coaches out there than Will Wade. Craig Schilling says, we need a review from Naked Jaybird on streaming Boss Baby. He says, we need a review on Naked Jaybird streaming. There's an update on my grandmother, guys. I'm sorry. And The Incredibles. Yeah, that's why the stream gets better, Craig. That's why the stream gets better. Nookie says, CBS alert says top candidates are Brad Underwood, Scott Drew, and Buzz Williams for what it's worth. Scott Drew at Baylor, how pissed off would Baylor be if LSU hired back-to-back basketball coaches from Baylor? We would no longer be Baylor would hate Scott Woodward. Jake Nola says, if LSU chooses to play in the tournament, let me tell you very quickly what I've been told. Jake, is that they are going to be playing in the tournament, and they will go through this tournament process and then let the sanctions come down after. That's why they named Underwood the acting head coach. And they needed it. They were going to have to do that anyway. But the way that you name it like that, I believe that they will. But he also says, do you think Woodward should have waited to fire them till later? No. Jake also says Brad Stevens left the bench to take a high-end office role. He's not coming to coach at LSU. No really good coaches are coming anytime soon. You don't know that. You don't know that. Art Briles is fired. You go get Matt Rule. Then you get Dave Aranda. Ole Miss suffers a bit by hiring in-house. Then they go get Lane Kiffin. Guys, you're going to be fine. Like, we're going to be fine. It's not going to be soon. We're going to go through it. We're going to go through it. There's going to be dark days for LSU basketball ahead. And quite honestly, guys, there maybe should be. David Fitch says, do you think LSU made a deal to get lesser penalty for both basketball and football by firing Wilson? You mean Wade? This is, and we've talked about this for everybody that's just joined us. Do I think that there's a scenario where Will Wade is a sacrificial lamb in all of this? You're damn right I do. You're damn right I do. The problem with that is that Will Wade doesn't have to be a sacrificial lamb, right? Like, why would the NCAA need for Will Wade to be fired by Scott Woodward as a sacrificial lamb to save football? Now, do I think that there's a deal that was in place? Do I think that Mark Emmert and the IRP, the CCU, not the MCU, this isn't Marvel, but they know something? You're damn skippy, I do. You're damn skippy, I do. Now, I don't think that they needed it, but I think that they did it. Whether it was talked behind closed doors or whether they're doing it out in public so that the NCAA knows and Mark Emmert and everybody knows, hey, we're giving up Will Wade. He screwed up. And here's another thing. No head coach of the Big Four is here anymore since Joe Oliva and F. King Alexander have been here. At this point, he's completely cleaned house. God bless Beth Torina. But it's going to be a wild couple of months. A very wild couple of months. G McGee Z says, go still Bruce Pearl. That ain't happening, dog. That ain't happening. Oh, Danny Girl says, I think it will be tough to get a bigger name coach with sanctions looming over the program. So maybe a bridge coach until all that is done. Hell, go ask John Brady what he's doing. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Ryan Tito says, you have Woodward big game hunter on the trail. Guys, don't get it twisted either. He loves this shit. Penn Jones says, I think Odell's ban from the LSU sporting events becomes lifetime. I don't think being a lifetime ban for giving kids cash. A lifetime ban? No. Because they only banned him for 2 years. Kevin Howe says, writing to the contracts to protect the next coach in regards to the upcoming sanctions. I don't know how you do that, though. I don't know how you do that. Like, hey, Kevin, what do you go out there and do? He says, hey, don't cheat. Go out there and say, hey, don't cheat. I mean, you'd have to give him a 7-year deal if you got a 2-year postseason ban. I mean, but did Louisville get? I don't think Louisville got a 2-year postseason ban, right? Like, I think they only had one. They had a reduction of scholarships and a reduction in scholarships and one postseason ban. But I think that I really think that, we say Louisville. I mean, guys, Louisville won a national title and they got popped. And look, the Kansas thing's not over yet, by the way. Everybody talking about Bill Self, it's not completely over with Kansas. Per the NCAA, that investigation is still ongoing. Who knows? What you going to do if Bill Self gets fired? A year and a half ago, by the way, or a little over a half a year ago, y'all, I always thought this was, here's a sports, we might turn this into a segment, sports conspiracies. Would y'all like a segment like sports conspiracies? Like a conspiracy theory? Here's a sports conspiracy for you. About 2 years ago, they asked Coach K if how long he wanted to see himself coaching for more. And he says he wanted to get a whole 4-year recruiting class in the cycle and then retirement. And at the end of that year, if you remember, he said that he held a press conference and then said he was retiring after next year. Wonder if the NCAA had anything to do with that. So you have a man that said he wanted to coach for a minimum of 4 more years. Then a couple months later, he's saying that he's retiring at the end of the year. He's going to do 1 more year and then he's going to retire. Chris English says, I'm in Missouri, and I'm hearing that Kansas is about to get it just as bad. And, man, if they do, man, oh, man. Reed Wilson says, dude, WTF, Odell did was selfish, and he deserves exactly what he gets on this end from LSU. He didn't have to do that. It was a selfish act. Brandon, I don't know what I said that would be wrong there, buddy. I mean, I didn't say I said the 2-year bowl. I said a 2-year ban from LSU. What I said is that he shouldn't get a lifetime ban. He should not get a lifetime ban for handing out $1,000 worth of cash. I don't think that's a right punishment. Thomas Parker says, what really sucks is that the players will serve the ban probably weren't the ones getting paid. Thomas, you're right. Thomas, you're absolutely right. That's what sucks. That's what absolutely sucks. Let me say this too, and I'm probably going to get ripped on this. Actually, I know that I'm going to get ripped on this. I saw a lot of former LSU players within the last 5 years take to Twitter and take to, basically all were saying, man, this is BS. Man, this is wrong. This shouldn't have happened. None of that happened. None of that's true. With all due respect to those players, you're saying that because you got paid. Now, whether people like me saying that or not, I quite honestly don't care. But when you're out there defending Will Wade when you got paid, and guys, and we talked about this Wednesday too, don't take the word allegations in the note when it says notice of allegations as it's only alleged. Guys, what it really is, and the NCAA did come out and say this, that it's a notice of proof. It's what it should be called, a notice of proof, because the NCAA came out and said that there were 17 other sanctions that they investigated, but at the current moment could not get the evidence to produce on Will Wade. 17 more level 1 type situations that they could not prove. But here's the ones that we're hitting Will Wade with, level 1 violations that we can ultimately prove. And here's what I do like about the NCAA. Here's the only thing that I like about the NCAA. Now, is it corrupt? Yes. The NCAA is completely corrupt. We do have to have an overseeing body. We do have to have somebody out there investigating things when people are cheating. Guys, you can't get rid of law and order. Boom, boom. Nurse Court says, I love OBJ. Don't think he was at all. He was just celebrating, having a good time. Yeah, I mean, what he did was wrong, but I don't think that he deserves a lifetime ban. Edward Ozo says Odell needs to be banned permanently. That was very selfish. Here's the thing, too. Where was compliance? He's not the only one. Who let him on the field? He's not the only one to blame. Here's another thing, too. Scott Woodward was the AD when that happened. Scott has to take some of the blame, too. So does Ed. Jason says, hashtag ask Blake, you really think the NCAA stationed in Lawrence would punish Kansas after seeing the Lester Earl situation? I doubt it. I thought they were based in Indiana. I could be wrong there. But where is the NCAA office? Yeah, it's in Indiana. It's in Indianapolis. I thought so. If you're talking about like a subsection, then maybe so. Penn Jones says just a case of the head mafia boss taking out a sub boss. There you go. That's what it ultimately all comes down to. Edward O says 2K. I mean, yeah. Look, Look, I know I get now that our stream is fine. I'm getting all of my tweets. Went over to Twitter, boy. I'm getting ripped alive over here, boy. I'm getting ripped alive over here. Eesh. G McGee says everybody cheats, Blake. If you don't, you ain't winning. Just got to be smart about it. Somebody go in here and say where I told Will Wade not to cheat. I never told him not to cheat, but don't get caught. McGee. And then we'll start wrapping some things up here. McGee. He used his own joint bank account with his wife that the feds can pull records without subpoena power. Well, they do need subpoena power, but FDIC, I mean, I would assume that the FBI got subpoenaed. That Will Wade ultimately in this investigation had a subpoena against him, and they pulled his bank records. What you want the FBI investigating for? Here's another thing. Why do you think the FBI is investigating? Money laundering, embezzlement. It just doesn't come out of the thin blue air, man. The golden pod boot. The golden pod boot. I'm mixing that up big time. The golden boot pod. It's interesting that people think OBJ should be banned permanently. He handed out money, but Wade handed out money and they're defending him. It's a good point. Harold says Wade was sloppy AF. At least make an LLC bank account. Yeah, like Orgeron did. All right. Clyde said federal. Absolutely. You're damn right. Don says the fact Wade couldn't run a half-court offense and couldn't coach and was getting all the good recruits made coaches mad. It's a good point. Guys, he's got a point there. Jared says OBJ isn't the head coach. It's also a good point. And he's not the face of your program either. And he got a 2-year ban. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Corey says a certain LSU podcast is defending them. It's like they don't care about the proof. Well, I mean, I'm not going to come out here and defend Will Wade. Guys, I come out here and tell you when I'm wrong all the goddamn time. I tell you when I'm right. I'm tell you when I'm wrong. People remember when I'm wrong, though, more than when I'm right. That's how it always works. That's how it always works. Scrolling up to get some more of these. I didn't see anybody talk about. Do y'all like the new segment called Conspiracy in Sports? What's a conspiracy theory in sports? Lauren Anderson says Baylor got Aranda, so they got one of our good ones too. That's true. It's true. Jason says the stream got so much better when you started talking about everyone's balls. Speaking of balls, everybody go do us a favor. If you're going to Manscaped, manscaped.com, at purchase 20% off, free shipping, use the promo code AYS. Can I get one person go buy something on Manscaped for a brother and type in the promo code AYS? Just one person's all I request. There's 518 of y'all in here. Go help a brother out. Do a brother a solid. NCV says everybody hit that like button. Yeah, everybody hit that like button. Chance Babin says Wade and OBJ both sloppy handing out money. One of them's the head coach in the face of your program. William Brent says, I'm glad Wade drama's done. I think that's the biggest thing for me, y'all. The biggest thing for me is that it's all over with. And guys, we started this in 2017, 2018. Since I've been covering LSU, we've been covering Will Wade investigations. It's time to come to an end, man. Edward says, and he's not the head coach of the basketball team exactly. Yeah, he's not. Al Landry says Tigers Avenue is hosting a Twitter space tonight at 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. Absolutely. Everybody be there. Nurse Court says Manscaped not helping a sister, but anyway. You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that. Try it out. I need one person to go over there and use the AYS promo code. Do a brother a solid, man. I never ask y'all for anything. Nookie says, conspiracy in sports, Jordan going to play baseball because of gambling. Hey, man. It's a good point. Nookie coming off the top rope like his name is Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam. Jared Roach says Manscaped works on women too. Man, this is going down such an awesome path. Trey Guy says, come on, people, do a beat down on that like button. Do it for a player. All right, we'll go just a little bit longer. I keep saying that, but this is just so intriguing. Jake Nola says, Blake, if this whole thing would have never happened with Wade, would you approve of him being the coach at LSU? Like, do you think he's turned us around and doing a good job? Let me say this, Jake, and I'm not going to opt out of this question. And everybody, Jake, that's watched this show knows that I say this religiously. I hate talking in hypotheticals. Now, sometimes I have to because I don't have a choice. And I understand that. But I really don't like talking about non-reality things when it comes to things like this, right? Like I really, really don't like it. If Will Wade would have never cheated, yes, I would have been okay with him staying. He did turn the program around. Yes, there's no denying that. However, it's very difficult for me. And again, Jake, we talk about this so much on this show, is I just hate like, well, what if this guy caught this pass? Well, what if this guy did this? What if this guy hit this ball over here instead of over there? Well, he didn't. I would, if he would not have, if he would not have been charged with bribery and attempted what it would seem like, at least, of bribery, which we kind of know. I mean, they have proof of the bribery. Then yes, but we can't do that. James Washington says, I see people in the chat defending Will Wade. Shaking my head. Skipper Tally says, just like a wife, remember the bad stuff for. Oh, man. I hope my wife's not watching this. Chris English says RVD. And Chris Lee Brown, what's up, Chris? Said, give some crying face emojis. Rob Van Dam. If you're Will Wade, you're what the damn. Noble says if Rick Pitino and Bruce Pearl are still coaching, Wade will get another gig, no doubt. But here's the thing. They both got fired. They both got fired from their other jobs. Bruce Pearl had too many wieners on a grill. Guys, Bruce Pearl had too many hot dog weenies on a grill. That's why he got fired. Speaking of Manscaped, that's why that man got fired. Chris says, Rob Van Dam, that's funny to me. I don't care. Nookie says, conspiracy in sports, the most painful one. What happened in the 2011 Natty? Was there really a fight breakout in the locker room? We had some people on that team, Nookie, from my high school and good friends of mine. They said that there was. They said old T-Bob's daddy got pissed off. That's what was going on in the locker room. Last one, I swear to God. Rob Boudreaux says, no, not that one. Not that one. I can't read that one either. Y'all talking about murder up in here. All right, that's enough. Glad the stream finally came back. Hour and 30 minutes long. Just know that we can't stream on multiple devices while Daddy's in here streaming too. All right, guys, we'll see y'all tomorrow. We'll pick up the show again tomorrow. We'll get on the phone lines and find out what's going on more. I promise you. Until then, thank you all guys for praying for our family. Thank you for being part of AYS. We'll see y'all tonight, I'm sure, in the Twitter spaces. Until then, y'all have a good night. Peace out, Girl Scouts.